All right. Welcome to the We Are Change Open Mic Live interview, folks. It's a pleasure to have y'all with us here at Journeys for Conscious Living. If you're watching online, this happens every month, every last Monday, that is, and it's in Arvada, so come join us. But please, everybody that's here, let's give them a warm welcome. We got Phoenix Clay in the building, a.k.a. Totem. Thanks for joining us. How do you want to go by tonight? You want to go by Totem or you want to go by Phoenix?
Either way.
All right, well, Totem, it's a pleasure to have you. You're usually behind lots of gadgets, and you're usually playing for people, and there's lots of dancing and sweating involved. So, how does it feel to be able to fill in a different role right now?
Feels good. I appreciate the opportunity, Bruce. My primary lexicon on stage is what I call glute. But it's nice to be sharing words with you tonight. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. So this is somebody I've looked up to a long time, and becoming more friends, over the years. I've known him a long, long time, and it's just really great. He's an event producer. He's an audio wizard. He's got tons of different music on his Totem page, but he's also had a project that I know about called New Native, and a lot of what he does is different than what most DJs do, is press buttons and come up with music. He makes all of his music, live instrumentation, guitars, drums, flutes, so many different things. I've seen this guy in the midst of his work, and I was like, wow, very impressive human being. So, when did you start playing live instruments, and when did your musical career begin?
Well, I've been playing my voice for my whole life. My mother was a soprano in the Dallas Symphony Orchestra, so she went down the professional vocalist route. So from very early on, I was trained tonally with my ear to recognize harmony and melody, and learned composition, classical composition early on, of merit to my mother, and learned guitar and piano early on, 7th, 8th grade. Took lessons and kind of fell out of love with music and streamlined into a baseball career. A lot of people, even close friends, don't know that I played college baseball and almost played Major League. But I decided that I loved ganja more than playing baseball, and failed enough drug tests to get kicked off. So, in hindsight, I think ganja really saved me from that trajectory, where not nearly as many humans, I think, would have been impacted by my baseball playing than my music. So I give thanks to Great Spirit for that. But out of college, after baseball started dissipating, I really grew a deep fascination with psychedelic sound and the purveyance thereof, and a lot of the people who I look up to now, or I looked up to then, I play with now, and people like Desert Dwellers and Schwankel really got me into the domain, and I'm super, super humbled to be able to work in this way with sound and have the opportunity to purvey the message of our tribe to people out of state, out of country, and just humbly do that work.
Yeah, well, thanks for your work. He had us all very, very sweaty at Rhythm Sanctuary the other night. How many people were there? Yeah. It was so amazing. That's a good turnout right here for this group. So that was awesome. And then you're going to be playing out at a Rise Music Festival. You were playing at a couple different festivals this summer, big shows, little shows, whatever it works out. You're going to be playing on the main stage at a Rise, or the side?
The main stage, so it's adjacent to the main stage.
Cool. So yeah, you're going to have a chance to play in front of a huge audience out at a Rise. We got a huge crew. Once again, make some noise if you're going to a Rise this year, y'all. Stoked for that this weekend. You also, I don't think many people know, have authored a book. Tell us a little about that and where people can find it.
Yeah, I haven't talked about my book in a while. 2011, I sold virtually everything I owned, went through almost complete dematerialization, kept my instruments, kept my musical belongings, sold my car, sold everything in my room, and took off on a bike journey from Texas to Rainbow Gathering in Washington State, and then just hugged the West Coast all the way down to Tijuana, pretty much. And yeah, I wrote a book about it. Just so much immense beauty and transformation, personal transformation that I personally underwent traveling that distance on a bike, especially in the Midwest. You don't have people that are necessarily stoked or even knowing of what you're doing. So yeah, I wrote a book. I think it's 120, 150 page memoir of that journey, and it's available on Amazon. Travels and Truths.
Travels and Truths. How many people in this room even know that Phoenix had a gay book? Not many. Yeah, he's a wide-ranging, good human being. He also throws events, and I would maybe say conscious events, but then I started to think in my head, like, what does that even mean? So why don't I ask you, conscious events, conscious music, what does it mean to you to be conscious?
Yeah, Zoe and I talk about this a lot. What is it that we're attempting with these gatherings? Because it's clear that the world needs more than a party. The world needs consideration. The world needs elevation of our vibration. And so, what we talk about a lot is we can create the conditions that are necessary for transformation to occur. We can't force anybody to step through that door of transformation, but we can create the conditions that are necessary for that event to occur for somebody to have an enlightening experience on the dance floor, or have super amazing tarot card reading, whatever means, whatever mode that is used, we can create those conditions, and I think that's what we're attempting in these conscious gatherings, and even in my music. Music has the potential to alchemize, has the capacity to alchemize. This is something I see deeper into every song I write, of how music can literally take a bad feeling, a perhaps less desirable feeling, and turn it into a sensation that maybe isn't great, but it's just okay. It's not good or bad, it just is. You can feel the core of that emotion. In so doing, maybe transmuting that, maybe moving through that pain, or moving through that grief that you've held on to. And so that's kind of what it means to me, and there's any shade of gray that I think an event producer might have the intention for, putting on an event, a conscious event. But I think that's why we do it. I think that's why you do it. That's why any conscious artist, transformational artist, visionary painter, I think that's why they're doing it. They're seeking to convey realms of healing and realms of existence that don't necessarily appear to our senses, but inherently influence our experience on this planet. Not sure if that answers your question.
That definitely answers it. And thank you so much for doing your work. And, wide variety of talents you got. Give us a couple of the events that you've really transformed the most at, or that you've been super blessed to throw, and just anything that pops up for you, any of those events that maybe these people have been, or maybe they've never heard about. Just some of those events that have been landmark in your life.
The one that pops out most, I think that started my digital exploration, was the regional burning Texas burn, which I know a lot of people have knee-jerk reaction to the burn gatherings, and rightfully so, maybe in a certain sense that these type gatherings, I think, have a genuine core. The outer edges and the outer shells might not be as true, pure, genuine as that core, but the burn gatherings have been really influential to me, particularly in the direction of just responsible radical expression, and what that looks like. And responsible being the operative word, I think, but radically express yourself. I think the world needs that in a responsible way. So the Texas Regional Burn has been really influential to me. The Arise gathering, obviously, has been really influential to me, nurturing musical seeds. I definitely could not have reached the audience and gestated the music in the same way without the Starwater Collective, but the Arise Music Festival creating that platform for my music, and a lot of the stuff that we do, the epic events that we've done in Europa, I thought were hugely transformational for me, both in our successes and in our failures. Maybe more importantly, in our failures, learning how to move through that with grace, and how not to let the failures defeat the mission,
I was at lots of those events you mentioned, maybe not the Texas Regional Burn, but I just want to give you thanks. Shout out to Starwater Collective officially as this being a huge role in my life, because they saw me as who I was. They were like, man, this guy's powerful on the mic. let's give them some more time. And over the years, I've continually just gotten a little bit more space, did some Arise pre-parties. I did the Rise main stage last year, or Rise Starwater main stage, and now this year I might be doing the main stage. And so, yeah, I want to thank you guys for seeing me for who I am and allowing me to step into myself, because that's what these open mics I like to do is, now that I've been seen, now I'd like to be able to have others be seen, because that's really important in this community. We've got so many shiners, and so there's so much light, but we also go through some darkness sometimes, don't we, Phoenix? So tell us a little about experimenting with looking into your shadow, because we talked about that I think at Sonic Bloom, and I just want to hear, because sometimes in Boulder or in Denver we hear all the positivity, we hear all the greatness, and we hear all the good things, amazing positivity, and maybe we don't necessarily hear much about the shadow work. So I just like to put you on the spot on that. Tell us a little about your shadow work.
That. We're not interested in how cowboys are doing here. You know what I mean? Let's yeah. I guess I feel impelled to share my experience at Sonic Bloom. I was helping just with the cafe at Sonic Bloom. I wasn't even slotted to play or anything like that. And really immersing myself in conversation with people and walking around the grounds without talking to anybody whatsoever. It became apparent to me slowly, I think, how the nature of the disposition of man right now, and like the deep grief I think that the spirit of humans is in right now, and not removing the layers of insulation that I think all of us put up to feeling that sensation, and coming to a place of just no separation between myself and the sadness, the grief, the anger, the pain that I think either we all feel or we all insulate ourselves from feeling. So this is a fundamental function to me, but how I feel it is, this is something for us all to move through. And however and whatever innumerable ways that we insulate ourselves from this issue, this core grief, this core pain body of human, we have all got to step through this. This is something that we are all stepping through in a deeply personal way, thus illuminating our world, illuminating the external